Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Legendary Valiant Titan. Going back into the uh miniseries. We left off with doing the tanks. I want to get all the tanks out of the way and then go into supports later today. Sorry. And I think there's only one tank left, and it's Aurora. So let me just, if I can actually spell her name right, which I doubt. Is that it? I doubt that's it. Did I get it right? Oh, wow, I actually did. So Aurora is the last tank. She's a ice spelling tank. Seems like her kit almost seems like it's more for a mage, but it really isn't. But the abilities she has are um the ability she has are the frozen track, which allows you to, well, of course, block an enemy. You can even block like minions to stockpile a bunch of minions together and then just have a huge ass army with them. The glacial barrier, obviously, it roots them down, doing a percentage of damage. Uh, skill deals an instant damage equal to 3.8% of the hero's max health. Uh, I didn't even know about that. So this thing does scale off a damage of 3.8% of her max health. It's not too impressive amount, but it does help. Then there's their ult, just freezes the shit out of you, blows you up, stuns you, of course. Yeah, pretty good. And then you have this, which can basically do that. You can easily just dive a tower, backflip out of it, and just, well, you can go back under tower as well if you upgrade that thing, because it lasts for quite a while. It just hit the tower. So, if it wasn't obvious enough, this character is more of a utility tank rather than a tank, where it's just, super beefed up stats like Rampage, Sevarog, Boris, and so forth. So, she's more of a utility tank, more of a utility slash invasive type of tank. So, how do we really build an Aurora for that case? In my opinion, I okay, Aurora, I'm just gonna put that out there. Aurora is another character I really don't play a lot of, but I do have an idea of what I would probably go for her. I like, for example, I think, let's see, where is Aurora for me? Yeah, I only played her for 4 hours, but for the time I did play her, and for what I've seen of her, I think I could kind of come to a conclusion, at least enough to where you'd be able to use the build as a new player and do pretty well with it. So, let us begin. So for the first card, I think Mutant's Poe is probably gonna be the one you want to grab, which is this item. I think I think the successful basic attack on an enemy gains a stack. I think the whole passive is really just good for her. Plus, it's magical power. It's an early game item, so it's really cheap. It gives you decent power, decent physical defense. Sorry, decent health, cooldown reduction, which is really good for her. It's just a really good item to start off with because of how cheap it is. And I don't know. I just like that passive. I like the passive for the more damage side tanks. The next one that I would say is going to be the Fruit of Greed. I think, yeah. it's kind of like another hybrid item. 20 magic power, 30 magical defense, 400 health, 10% cooldown. So another cooldown thing, which is quite nice. Passive increases the hero's magical penetration for 12, and magical defense by 12 for every nearby enemy hero. Which means if you're near the entire enemy team, that gives you 60 of magic pen and magic defense. And I like that item on her because of the fact that your ultimate is really good for those big team fights. And especially since when you're in Prime Pit or Spirit, people are kind of it's just a kind of like clusterfuck at times. So it's easily you can easily just get in there and just use your ult, and this passive would be doing a crap ton for you. Not to mention, I mean, you basically have 90 magic defense with this, so those big magical AOE's aren't going to be hurting you nearly as bad either. So that's a really good item for just diving in and just doing a crap ton of damage with that magic pen, and just being able to tank quite a bit as well. That's why I kind of like that item. So we kind of got our magic power stuff down, I think. Let's move on to more of the utility side. So the utility side of things, I would probably go for Penman of Confinement as my first one, as it gets 50 magic defense, 300 health, 10% cooldown reduction. Because you gotta remember that you are a tank. You gotta have some pretty beefy armor stats to keep be relevant in the game for being a frontliner. So the passive is a successful basic attack on an enemy within 3 seconds of using a skill, slows the enemy by 30% for 1.5 seconds, and deals 120 bonus magical damage to all nearby heroes or enemies in general. Upon successful range, it's not doesn't matter. That's for rangers. So yeah, this item is really good for. Well, again, really, you can just kind of just goes hand in hand with this. Like once you jump in, hit someone, you're kind of doing this passive damage that's slow. You're getting this. Like, it's really just like these two items are really just good for closing, providing enough their ability to give you time to close the gap, and really just do a pretty decent amount of damage while also slowing them down. So that's pretty good. So I'm trying to think if you need tenacity on her. I mean, normally any tank should have it. I just don't know for Aurora. Mm. I'll tell you what. If I can't find another item, I'll go for that. So we're gonna need a physical defense item. I think the one we're gonna go for is gonna be I spirit gloves. Reason being, I usually don't tell you guys to get this item. I usually tell you guys to get high end, glacial, Guardia, Helene, and then Gravity Inductor. The reason I'm telling you to get Ice Spirit gloves is because Aurora is a mana hog machine. She uses a lot of mana, so you do need a bit more mana. And being able to being able to reduce the attack speed of enemy heroes is also not that bad. And of course, you get that 10% cooldown, which is also never something to complain about. Uh, just to cap off of the mana as well, I do think Sweet Life could be pretty good too. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go with Sweet Life on this one. I think for her, I think it's just really good because of the fact that when that ult does go off, you're pretty much guaranteed to at least kill someone. I'd assume. Um, with all the effects that you have on this build, you're guaranteed that your team's gonna have to kill someone if they play up with you. Like, there's no way they wouldn't be able to kill someone. So yeah, I think Sweet Life definitely goes with her, just for the more mana, the beefy amount of health, some more physical defense, And like this, like I said, just the passive is really good. You get 2% max health and max mana because Aurora is a endurance machine when it comes to being able to stay in a fight for a very long time because of her invasiveness that she does have. Why not cap that in endurance with something like this? So let's just bring in the numbers. So we got 20, 90. So about 120 physical defense. So you have around 200 physical defense. So not bad. You have 30 defense there, and you'd have 80 with this. So, and it also depends on how many enemies are nearby. So you could vary from like 100 something to 200. So there's two ways we could do this. We could either go for a lot more health, or we could either go for uh, a lot more health. We could go for there's really three items in particular that I'm really thinking about. I'm thinking between Swamp Cloak, I'm thinking Hailing Nanomachines, or the Mentor of the High Priest for more durability for the whole team. Or even this, really. No, not that. I think you just need a lot more durability. And it comes out of these three. I want to say, yeah, I'll say Healing Nanomachines. I think the endurance thing is just so good on her. I think because you could easily jump out of a fight with all her dashes, all of her roots, her ult. Like you can easily get away from someone, especially if you have blink on top of that. Like you can easily get out of a fight, recover your health with this, like, and just get back into the fight. Sure, you don't have the highest armor, yeah, but you do have pretty good sustain. And that's what she's good at. She's great at sustain. Now let's look at her final. It might be even better than I think, maybe, but let's make sure. So for Aurora, we have, and just so we have an understanding of how much armor we do have. Um. Okay. So yeah, you do have pretty good stats. You got 237 physical defense, 147 magic defense, 40% cooldown, and nearly 4,800 health. So pretty freaking solid. And yeah, you ain't going down easily with this build for sure. Especially since your invasive things are just so good. I mean, just being able to do this. I mean, look how much distance you close with, like, get away from someone like with that. Especially if you have blink on top of that. Like I said, like, you just go so fucking far. I mean, yeah, I think that's a pretty good build for her. Now, like I said, it's really just for the endurance side. I build her for more endurance and utility. Build her however you want. Like, I mean, these are just to help new players out, though. If they don't know a good direction, I think this is a good way to build her. All right, that's all I got for this one. If you guys enjoyed, make sure you like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And if you like more content like this, keep an eye on the channel because there's gonna be the supports are coming in next. So stay tuned for that. Until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.